I remember when I was attending a seminar by medical students, one of the students mentioned about the offensive waste when she was talking about biomedical waste. What is the meaning of the word offensive? Offensive is when you are being disrespectful or when you are insulting someone. Now, what is offensive waste? The waste that is generated by humans but which is not infective is the offensive waste, and this includes the menstrual blood as well as the diapers which have the urine or the fecal matter. And what is biomedical waste? That which is generated by the patients and which might be infective to the general public. Now, when I was searching for this, I also came to know about articles coming from foreign countries where they segregate this offensive waste and the biomedical waste, and they say that separation of this is profitable also. Why? Because there they have a separate system, and what they do with this offensive waste, that is menstrual waste, is they sterilize it, they shred it, and they recycle or reuse it. And that is why separating it, the cost also is less than disposing the biomedical waste. But what about the disposal in our country? In my last video, I had asked you this question: how do you dispose your sanitary pads? Do you think that this is the ideal way to dispose them? Let me ask this again. And when I ask these questions, when I go to take workshops, to the girls who are present there, they give a variety of answers. Some of the girls say that, oh, what is there to think in it? We just throw it in the dustbin, or we throw it outside, or we put it in the gutters, or we throw it in water bodies like river, lake, oceans. I remember another incident when we were meeting with the principal of an engineering college, and he was so fed up with this issue. He said, "Madam, we really need to do something. Every other day there is some problem with the plumbing pipes, the toilets, and I am really frustrated how many times I have to clean this, just because the girls, they flush the pads in the toilet." And when we were interviewing the sanitary inspector or sanitary workers, when we were doing the project for my daughter, we came to know that these people literally have to separate all this waste afterwards. Nowadays, there is some awareness to separate the dry waste and the wet waste, and there is compulsion from government that we have to give it separately. But does this happen with the menstrual waste? So we have to be more aware about disposal of this waste. Why? Because we are creating this waste, so it is our responsibility that it is disposed of in a proper way. Now, what is the proper way? How do we know? Now, we have seen in the previous videos that this menstrual pads or the sanitary pads, they contain some amount of plastic. Now, if it goes in the general waste, it will either go to those huge landfills where this general waste is dumped, or it may pollute the water bodies, or it may pollute the soil, because these pads, they are not degraded for so many years. More than 800 years these pads remain in the soil. So it is very important to know what is the ideal way to dispose of these sanitary pads. What is my perspective? There are many people who are working for this to bring about awareness, but this is my perspective about how we can ideally dispose of the sanitary pads. So first thing that we can do is segregation of menstrual waste at its source, means where it is generated. Now it may be in our homes, it may be in the schools, in the hostels, colleges, in malls, in different public places. It should be segregated and kept separately. Second thing, collection and transportation of this waste separately. Though we may collect it separately, but what is the point if we give it to the person or the government official who is coming to collect this waste and they dump it into the general waste. No. So it has to be collected and transported separately. And third very important thing is it should be disposed of by incineration. Now, because of increasing awareness of this topic, we have seen that in many schools or colleges or hostels, there are incinerators that are put up, and the girls just have to put the pad inside and it burns off. The disposal of sanitary pads by incineration requires a specific very high temperature, and the burning process will release some toxic fumes because these pads contain some chemicals, some polymers, some substances which may release toxic gases, and hence these incinerators should be placed outside in open space and not in populated areas. So the proper method is incineration, but we should not just install incinerators in highly populated areas, but they should be away from the society, and it should liberate the gases in the free atmosphere so that it will not pollute the atmosphere here. This may be the ideal method. It is not implemented as such. If it is, do comment and tell me. Let us think of this and how to implement this. So me and my daughter along with an NGO, we had started this initiative, and what we did and how we did it, let us hear in the next video. Let us meet in my next video with new learnings. Until then, bye-bye.